You know, that was a strange sort of gentleman that's built this place. Spent a wicked lot of money on it, then gets tired of it and puts the whole thing up for sale.
Beats me why they always wanted to buy anyway. Living on islands.
Oh, come on, gentlemen. Take that stuff to the kitchen. They'll be here any minute now.
Making that steep climb an excuse for a drink, I suppose, like some others I know. Remember, I shall want at least 5 loaves in the morning and 8 kinds of dinner.
Yes. Oh, that'll be young Jim. I'll be getting along now. There are 2 gentlemen arriving by car. They'll be here any minute now.
Don't forget the oil for the engine, Fred. You should charge up tomorrow. I don't want the light running down.
It was held up at the station. It's there now. I'll be bringing it along first thing tomorrow morning.
Well, you're handling the luggage, will you?
Yes.
Forgot to give you a list of the guests, huh?
Oh, thanks, Hotel. Doesn't look like a very fuss lot to me. Miss Redford, she'll probably be the secretary.
I don't hold much with secretaries. Worse than hospital nurses, giving themselves airs and graces and looking down on the servants.
Oh, come on, gentlemen. Go back to your lovely up-to-date expensive kitchen of yours.
Too many new fancy gadgets for my fancy.
Oh, so this is it.
How perfectly lovely.
Miss Redford?
You're Rogers.
Yes. Good evening, miss.
Good evening, Rogers. Would you take up mine and Captain Lombard's luggage?
Very good, miss.
Thanks. You've been here before?
No, but I've heard a lot about this place.
Oh, from Mr. and Mrs. Ellen?
No, old Johnny Brewer. No, Paul and I built this place. A sad story.
A love story?
Yes, ma'am. The saddest of all. He was a wealthy old boy. Fell in love with famous Lily Logan. Married her. Bought this island and built this place for her.
Sounds most romantic.
Poor Johnny. He thought by cutting her off from the rest of the world, without even a telephone as means of communication, he could hold her.
But of course, the fair Lily tired of her ivory tower and escaped.
Uh-huh. Johnny went back to Wall Street, made a few more millions, and the place was sold.
And here we are. Well, the odds will find the others. Mrs. Owen will be up in a minute.
It would be very good for me to hear by myself.
Would it? Well, I wonder where they are.
Oh, they'll be along when they're ready. Well, wait, do you think I could have a drink?
Of course.
It's very warm after this steep climb. Oh, what's yours?
Oh, no, not for me. Not while I'm on duty.
A good secretary's never off duty.
Really? This is exciting.
What is?
All of this, the smell of the seas, the gulls, I'm going to enjoy myself.
I think you are. I think you both are. Here's to you. You're very lovely.
Where's Mrs. Owen?
Mr. and Mrs. Owen were detained in London. I'll touch you, miss.
Oh,
Yeah, here's a list of the guests expected if you'd like to have it.
thanks,
The second
Rogers.
boat's just right.
How awful. I say you'll be sweet and stay by my side.
I won't move from your side.
Don't you think it's funny to have brought only us two on the first boat and all the others on the second?
That, I'm afraid, was designed, not accident.
Design? What do you mean?
Well, I suggested to the boatman there was no need for any other passengers. That and 5 shillings soon started the engine.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Well, they're not a very exciting lot, are they?
Well, I think the young man was under Woodley.
Callow. Definitely callow. And very, very young.
I say you think a man of his 30s is more attractive?
I don't think, my dear. I know.
I say, wasn't Bishop got here?
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be bound until tomorrow.
Oh, that's too bad.
May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr.
Marston, Anthony Marston.
Oh, have a drink, sir?
Thank you.
Whiskey, sherry, or John Martini?
Whiskey, I think.
A wonderful place you have here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Say when?
Oh, is it?
How are you?
Oh, hello. My name's Lombard. Have a drink, Mr.
Davis. Davis tonight.
Mr. Davis, Mr. Marston.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Marston. Thank you, Mr. Lombard. I don't mind if I do. A bit of a stiff climb up here. But what of you? And what a height. But my reminds me of South Africa, this place.
Does it? What part?
No, German. You know. Well, here's the temperance. Do you know South Africa?
No.
That's where I come from. That's right out of the States.
Interesting country.
Our finest country in the world, sir. Gold, silver, oranges, diamonds, everything a man could want. Talk about a land flung with great skittles.
How do you do?
General Mackenzie, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. May I introduce Captain Lombard?
Thank you.
Mr. Marston. And Mr.
Davis is the name.
Whiskey and water, sir.
Yes, please. Tell me, you in the service?
Yes, formerly in the African Rifles. The two came peacetime. I charged them.
Pity. No, when?
Where is Miss Owen? Emily Brent, isn't it? Would you like to go in? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid,
And won't be down until tomorrow.
Indeed. Extraordinary. Did she miss the train?
I suppose so. Won't you have something? May I introduce Captain Lombard? General Mackenzie.
Wait.
I think you have men on the boat, and I'm Mr. Marston. And Mr.
Davis, may I take a case?
Do let me give you a drink. Sherry, martini, whiskey and soda.
I never touch alcohol.
You never touch alcohol?
I suppose you know, young man, that you left us standing there on the wharf.
Oh, no, that was all my fault. I only wanted
It
to
seems to me most extraordinary that Miss Owen should not be here to receive her guests.
suppose she's just the type of person who can't help missing trains.
And that's what I reckon she is.
Not at all. Miss Owen isn't the least like that.
Perhaps it was Nelson's fault.
She hasn't got a husband. I should like to go to my room now.
Of course, I'll take you there.
You'll find Mrs. Rice upstairs. She'll show you the room.
Thanks.
Oh. Our host and hostess haven't arrived yet, sir.
Mine's Wargrave. How do you do?
How do you do? Have a drink?
Yes, please. A whiskey?
Oh, sure.
How are you? Davis is the name. You have a wonderful place here. It's quite unique.
Yes, as you say, quite unique.
Your drink, sir.
Oh.
Has Badger Berkeley rolled up yet?
What did you say?
Badger Berkeley. He wrote me in for the show. When is he coming?
I don't think he's coming. Nobody by the name of Berkeley.
The dirty old double crosser. He's let me down again. Well, it's a pretty wicked island. Rather a wizard girl, that secretary. She ought to lie to fix up with it. So, man, how much else is for dinner this time?
Let's go explore.
Oh, wizard.
Things are good at 6s and 7s with the old smash showing up.
Tricky, what? I'd say. It's a place for a holiday, what?
Aren't you ready to sit down?
Well, to tell you the truth, you seem to be in my chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hadn't realized you were one of the family.
No, it's not that exactly. To tell you the truth, I never been here before, but you see, I'm in the painting club for the last 10 years. Well, my chairs, it's just about there. The top that used to sit very well.
Yes, it does become a bit of a habit.
Yes, thank you. Well, it's not quite as good as the clubs, but it's a nice chair. And to tell you the truth, I was a bit surprised when I got this invitation. I haven't done anything of the kind for well over 4 years. Not enough of them, I thought.
May I have your key, sir? Yes. Is Lady Constance Comington expected? Can you tell me?
Lady Constance Comington? I don't believe so, sir. Unless she's coming down with the owner.
Oh.
Oh, allow me, sir. May I have your key, sir?
No, I'll pack for myself.
Oh, dinner's at 8 o'clock, sir. In quarter of an hour. Shall I show you your room?
Please.
Here you are, sir. Rogers will be along any minute now.
How are you? Davis is the name.
Mine's Armstrong.
Dr. Armstrong, I believe.
Yes.
I thought so. I never forget face.
Don't tell me I forgot one of my patients.
Oh, no, nothing like that. It's just that I saw you in court once giving expert evidence.
Oh, are you interested in the law?
Well, I'm from South Africa. Naturally, legal processes in this country are bound to interest a colonial.
Oh, yes, of course.
Have a drink.
No, thank you. I don't touch it.
Do you mind if I do?
Not a bit.
Mine's empty. I say, we haven't looked around this island. It's a pretty wonderful place, isn't it?
Yes, I was thinking as I came down to the mainland, what a wonderful haven of peace this is.
Too peaceful for some, I dare say.
Wonderfully restful. Wonderful for the nerves. I'm a nerve specialist, you know.
Yes, I know that. Did you come down by train?
No, I motored down. Dropped in on a patient of mine along the way. Great response. Wonderful improvements.
Best part of 200 miles, eh? How long did it take you?
I don't know. You see, I don't hurry. I never hurry. Bad for the nerves. But on my way down, some mannerless young fellow nearly drove me into a ditch near Cambridge. Shot past me about 80 miles an hour. Disgraceful bit of driving. I'd have liked to have had his number.
Yes, and if only more people were to take the numbers of these young road hogs.
Yes, well, you must excuse me. I'm off to find Mr. Owens.
Oh, Miss Jones is coming down.
You ready, sir?
Yes. Take my hat, will you? What time's supper?
Dinner's at 8 o'clock, sir. I'll give you the address for Shop
A wonderful place you have here.
Well, thank you, sir.
Been here long?
No, sir.
So I don't suppose you know anything about the credit scene this evening?
No, sir.
All old friends of the family, eh?
I really can't say, sir.
Oh, well. Rogers,
Yes, sir.
Rogers, do you think you could put some sandwiches in a bottle of beer in my room at night? I'll get another been appetite with this sea air.
I'll see what I can do, sir.
Rogers, I'll see you won't lose by it. Where's my room?
I'll show you, sir.
Good. I'll give you a wash and brush up straight away.
There.
Oh, there you are, Rogers. You ought to wear these dirty glasses. You're always leaving the dirty work to me. Here I am with a 4-course dinner on my hands and no one to help me. The least you can do is help with the dishing up. Who are you talking to, by the way?
Davis, South African gentleman. And no money, no cross either, if you ask me.
You don't like him. Don't like any of them much. More like that bunch we had at the boarding house, I'd say.
Mr. Davis gives out to be like a millionaire or something. You should see his underwear, cheap as they make them.
Well, it's not treating us right. All these guests arriving today, no way to tell the morning. What do they think we are?
Now then, well, the money's good.
So it ought to be. Catch me going into the service again if the money wasn't good.
Well, it is good. So what you going on about?
Well, I'll tell you this, Rogers. I'm not staying any place where I'm put upon. Cooking's my business. I'm a good cook.
So straight, old girl.
The kitchen's my place and the housework's none of my business. Well, I've got a good mind to put my hat and coat on and walk straight out that door and go back to Plymouth.
You can't do that, old girl.
Why not, I should like to know?
You're on an island, old girl. Have you forgotten that already?
Yes, and I don't know as I fancy being on an island.
You don't know that I fancy being on an island either. We're now slipping down to the pub, or going to the pictures. Oh well, it's double wages on account of the difficulties, and there's plenty of beer in the house.
That's all you ever think about, beer.
Now stop your nagging and get back to your kitchen before your dinner becomes spoiled.
To be spoiled anyway, I expect. Everybody's going to be late. Wasted on that. Thank goodness I didn't make a souffle. Oh, dinner won't be but a minute, miss.
Is everything all right, Rogers? Can you manage to clean for me?
Oh yes, miss. The missus talks a lot, but she gets the job done.
What a lovely evening.
Oh, yes. The weather seems very settled.
How plainly one can hear the sea.
A pleasant sound.
Hardly a breath of wind, and deliciously warm, not like England at all.
I should have thought you might feel a little uncomfortable in that dress.
Oh, no.
It's rather tight, isn't it?
I don't think so.
You'll excuse me, my dear, but you're a young girl, and you've got your things to learn.
Yes.
A well-bred woman does not let her secretary to appear flashy. It appears, you know, as though you were trying to attract the attention of the opposite sex.
And would you say I do attract them?
That's beside the point. A girl who deliberately sets out to get the attention of men won't be likely to keep her job for long.
That surely depends on who she's working for.
Really, Miss Clayton.
Aren't you being a little unkind?
Young people nowadays behave in the most disgusting fashion.
Disgusting.
Yes. Low-backed evening dresses lying half naked on beaches. All this so-called sunbathing. An excuse for immodest conduct, nothing more. Familiarity. Christian names, drinking cocktails. And look at young men nowadays. They're decadent. Look at that young Marston. What good is he? And then Captain Lombard.
What should you object to Captain Lombard? I should say he was a very interesting man who led a very varied life.
The man's an adventurer. This younger generation is no good at all.
I take it you don't like young people.
Is there any reason why I should?
No, it just seems to me that you must miss out on an awful lot.
You're very impertinent.
I'm sorry, that's just what I think.
The world will never improve until you step out in honesty. Quite pathological. What did you say?
Oh,
What about the old boy? Looks rather like a tortoise, don't you think?
All judges look like tortoises. They have that venomous way of darting their heads in and out. Mr. Justice Wargrave is no exception.
I hadn't realized he was a judge.
Oh yes, he's probably responsible for sending more innocent people to death than anyone in England. Hello, you. Oh, have you two been introduced? Armstrong, this is Miss Claythorne.
Oh.
hello.
The old boy and I were just deciding.
Yes, I heard you. So, yeah,
Oh. Sir Lawrence, right?
Miss Brent, is it?
Yes. There's something I want to ask you. Will you step out here, please?
Marcy fine night.
Absolutely wizard car. A supercharged sports Jaguar. I could get over 100 on the road. You don't see many of them on the road.
Did you come from London?
Yes, 208 miles, and I did it in a bit over 4 hours. Touched 90 really across South Great Plains. Too many cars on the road, though. Keep it up. Not too bad, eh?
I think you passed me on the road.
Oh, yes?
You nearly drove me off the road into a ditch.
Did I? Sorry.
If I'd had your license number, I'd have reported you.
But you were putzing around in the middle of the road.
Putzing? Me? Putzing?
Hey, come on, what about a drink?
That's a good idea. Will you have a Miss Claythorne?
Oh, no, thanks.
Good evening, Mrs. Owen.
Why, Mrs. Owen?
You'd make a lovely wife for any wealthy businessman.
Do you always flirt so outrageously?
Always.
Oh, well then, now we know.
Tommy, what did Miss Brent want to talk to the judge about? She nearly tried to buttonhole him upstairs.
It was funny. She seemed so definite that it wasn't Mr. Owen.
You don't think they might not be...
What? Married, you mean?
Damn shame that you know each other. I could have given you a lift now.
Yes, that would have been grand.
I'd like to show you what I can do about South Fair Trade. Tell you what, maybe we can ride back together.
But I...
It seems damn silly. I've got an empty car.
Yes, but she likes the way she's going back.
Look, aren't they sweet? And there's the old nursery rhyme.
What are you talking about? What nursery rhyme?
10 little Indian boys went out to dine. One choked himself, and then there were 9. 9 little Indian boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8.
8 little Indian boys traveling in Devon. One got left behind, and then there were 7.
7 little Indian boys chopping up...
Ladies and gentlemen, silence. You are charged with these indictments, that you did respectively and at diverse times commit the following. Edward Armstrong, that you did cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleese. William Henry Gore, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Landor. Emily Caroline Brent, that you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. Vera Elizabeth Clayborne, that you killed Peter McGillivray Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that you were guilty of the deaths of 21 men, members of an East African tribe. Anthony James Marston, that you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Collins. Gordon McKenzie, that you sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Thomas Vargas and Ethel Rogers, that you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
It's nothing much. She's fainted, that's all. It's a brandy.
What was that? It sounded like...
What's going on here? What kind of practical joke was that?
Where the hell did that voice come from? Here we are.
Silence!
Turn it off! Turn it off! It's horrible!
Disgraceful and how this practical joke. So, you think it's a joke, do you?
Well, what else could it be? At the moment, I'm not prepared with an opinion.
Who the devil turned it on, though? Set it going.
We must inquire into that.
What's happened?
Allow me, sir. Allow me, madam. You're okay. Okay, you here. Pull yourself together.
You'll be okay, just the necessary.
It's my faint, sir.
Yes.
It was that voice, that awful voice, like a judgment.
Where's the brandy?
Here.
Drink this, you'll be all right.
I'll be all right now. Just gave me a turn.
Gave me a turn, too. Wicked lies it was. I'd like to know...
Who was it that put the record on the gramophone, Roger? Was it you?
I was just obeying orders, sir.
Whose orders?
Well, Mr. Owens.
Let me get this quite clear. Mr. Owens' orders were, what exactly?
Well, I was to put a record on the gramophone, sir. I'd find them in now. I was to start with that one, sir. I thought it was all just to give you a bit of music.
Very remarkable story.
Well, by heaven, it's the truth, sir. I didn't know it was. Not for a moment. There was a title on it. I thought it was all just to give you a bit of music.
Is there a title?
Yes, it's entitled Swan Song.
Look, preposterous. That's what it is, preposterous. Slick accusations about like this. Something must be done about it. This fellow Owen, whoever he is.
That's just it. Who is he?
We must go into that very carefully. And now then, Rogers, I should suggest you take your wife to bed and then come back here as soon as possible.
I'll give you a hand.
Won't she be all right, Doctor?
Yes, quite all right.
I don't know about you, but I feel I need another drink.
I agree.
I'll get them.
I'd like a glass of water, please.
I'll get it. I'll have some whiskey, too.
Preposterous.
She'll be all right. I gave her a pleasant kiss.
Now then, Doctor, you'll want to drink after all this.
No, thank you. I never touch it.
Oh, so you said. Have this one, General.
Yeah.
Ah, now then, Roger. I should like you to come on with us. And tell us what you know about Mr. Owens.
Well, he owns his place, sir.
I am aware of that fact. What I want to know is what you yourself know of the man.
You see, sir, I really can't say. I've never seen him.
What do you mean you've never seen him?
Well, my wife and I, we've only been here under a week. We were engaged through a letter, through the Regina in Plymouth.
Have you got the letter?
The letter engaging us, sir. Oh, yes.
Go on.
Well, we arrived here on the 4th, sir. Everything was in order. Plenty of food and stock and that. Everything nice. We just need a bit of dusting and that.
Well, what next?
Oh, nothing, sir. That is, we got our orders to prepare this house for a house party of 8. But then yesterday, by the Morning Post, we received another letter saying that Mr. and Mrs. Aaron might be detained. And if so, it was to do the best we could. It gave orders about dinner, putting on the gramophone record. Here it is, sir.
Headed Bruce Hotel in Typewritten.
Do you want some? Yes. Coronation machine number 5. Instant paper. Let's come and make. Well, we shan't get much out of this. We could try fingerprints, but it's been happening too much.
What a little detective we have here. He's got some fancy Christian names, hasn't he? Eulick, Norman Owen, quite a mouthful.
I'm obliged to you, Mr. Marston. You've drawn my attention to a curious and suggestive point. Now then, it would be best if we got to the bottom of this. I should like you to know shortly how each of us came to be guests on this island. It is a very interesting point.
There's something very peculiar about this. I received a letter with a signature that was not very easy to read. It purported to be from a woman who had not met a certain summer resort 2 or 3 years ago. I took the name to be Ogden. I'm quite certain that I have never met nor become friendly with anyone of the name of Owen.
Have you got the wire?
Yes, I will fetch it for you.
Thank you. Miss Claypool.
Well, I wanted a holiday post, so I applied to a secretarial agency, a Miss Grenfell's in London. She got me this post, and I accepted.
And you were never interviewed by a prospective employer?
No, only a letter. Here you go, sir.
Indian Island, Sticklehaven, Devon. I have received your name from Miss Grenfell's agency. I understand she knows you personally. I shall be glad to pay the salary you ask, and shall expect you to take up your duties on August 8th. The train is at 12 from Paddington, and you will be met at Oak Bridge Station. I've enclosed £5 for expenses. Yours truly, Una Nancy Owen. Mr. Marston?
Oh, me? I don't actually know the Owens. I got a wire from a Paladin, Badger Berkeley. He told me to roll up here. It surprised me a bit, because I had the idea that the old boss had gone to Norway. But I haven't kept the wire.
Dr. Armstrong.
Well, under these circumstances, I think it's safe to admit that my visit here is entirely professional. You see, Mr. Owens, he was worried about his wife's health, her nerves to be precise. He wanted a report without her being alive. He therefore suggested that I come down here and pose as an ordinary guest.
Yet you have no previous acquaintance with the Owens.
No,
But you had no hesitation in obeying the summons.
a few colleagues of mine were mentioned. Very sensibly suggested. I was due for a holiday anyway.
Ah, Miss Brent. Dear Miss Brent, I do hope you remember me. We were together at Bellhaven Guest House in August some years ago, and we seem to have so much in common. I am starting a guest house of my own on an island off the coast of Devon. I think there's really an opening for a place where there's good plain English cooking and a nice old-fashioned type of person. None of this nudity and gramophone stuff tonight. I shall be very glad if you can see a way to spending your summer holiday on Indian Island. As my guest, of course. I shall suggest August 8, 1240, from Paddington to Oak Bridge. Yours truly, U.N. Yes, the signature is slightly ambiguous.
I like the nudity touch.
Here's my decoy letter from an old colleague of mine, Lady Constance Homington. She writes in her usual vague, incoherent way and urges me to join on him in the vaguest of terms. She refers to hostess and host very infrequently. Now then, I shall like shortly to get to the bottom of it.
Look here, I've just thought of something.
In a minute.
Yes, but
We will get to one thing at a time, if you will, Captain Lombard. Now then, General Mackenzie.
Got a letter from this fellow Louis. Thought I must have met him sometime at the club. Met some old cronies and that were to be here. Hope that excuse and formal invitation. Haven't kept the letter, I'm afraid.
Thank you. Now then, Captain Lombard.
Well, same sort of thing. Mention of mutual friends, and I haven't got the letter either.
Just now, a disturbing experience happened. An apparently disembodied voice spoke to us all by name, uttering certain definite accusations. We will deal with those accusations presently. However, at the moment I'm interested in one minor point. Amongst the names received was that of William Henry Law. But as far as we know, there is no one named Law amongst us. What have you to say about that, Mr. Davis? Davis was not mentioned.
Well, cat's out of the bag, it seems. I suppose I'd better admit my name isn't Davis.
You are William Henry Law.
Yes, that's right.
I have something to add to that. Not only are you here under a false name, but I've noticed tonight you're a first-class liar. You claim to come from Natal, South Africa. I know Natal and South Africa well, and I'm prepared to swear you've never set foot there in your life.
Look, you gentlemen have got me all wrong. I'm an ex-CID man.
Oh, a copper?
Look, I've got my credentials and I can prove it. I'm on a detective agency in Plymouth, and I was put on this job.
By whom?
Mr. Owen sent a very nice money order for expenses, and said I was to come here posing as a guest.
Any reason given?
Yeah, it said Mrs. Owen's got some valuable tools or something. Mrs. Owen's my foot. I don't believe there's any such person.
Your conclusions are, I think, justified. Una Nancy Owen. You're Norman Owen. Each time, that is to say, you and Owen. Or by some slight stretch of fancy, unknown.
But it's fantastic. Mad.
Oh yes, I've no doubt in my own mind that we've been invited here by some lunatic, possibly a dangerous madman.
Oh my God.
Now, just now, the apparently disembodied voice spoke to us all. And out of this, he had a great deal of knowledge. Whoever it is enticed us here took a great deal of trouble to find out such knowledge. Definitely interesting.
Well, it's all very
Silence! I have this to say. Our unknown friend accuses me of the murder of one Edward Seaton. I remember Seaton perfectly well. He came before me at a trial in June 1930 for the murder of an elderly woman. He was fairly defective and made a good impression on the jury box. Nevertheless, on the evidence, he was certainly guilty. I summed up accordingly, and sentence was passed. The man was duly executed. I wish to say this. My conscience is clear on the matter. I passed sentence on a rightfully convicted murder and nothing more. I was doing my duty and nothing less.
Did you know Seaton at all? I mean, personally.
I knew nothing of Seaton previous to the trial.
The old boy's lying. I swear he's lying.
This is a madman. Absolute madman. He's got a bee in his bonnet. He's got hold of the wrong end of the stick all around. Oh, best really leave this sort of thing unanswered. However, feel I have to say no truth. No truth in whatever he said about young Arthur Richmond. Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him on reconnaissance in 1917. He was killed. Also, like you say, resent very much slur on my wife. Been dead a long time. Best woman in the world. Absolutely. Caesar's wife.
I've just been thinking. John and Lucy Collins. They must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly bad thought.
For you, for them.
Oh, well, I was thinking for me. Of course you're right. It was damn bad luck for them too, sir. Of course it was pure accident. They ran out of some cottage or other. I had my license suspended for a year. Beastly nuisance.
This feeling's all wrong. All wrong, I'd say. Young men like you are a danger to the community.
Well, I couldn't help it. Just an accident.
Might I say a word, sir?
Yes. Go ahead, Roger.
Well, there was mention, sir, of me, Mrs. Rogers, and Miss Jennifer Brady. There isn't a word of truth in it. We were with Miss Brady when she died. She was always in full health, always from the time we came to her. Oh, there was a storm, sir, that night she died. The telephone was out of order, and we couldn't get the doctor to him. I went out for him on foot, but he had arrived there too late. Devoted to her we were, sir. Nobody ever said a word against us. There was never a word.
So I suppose you came into a nice little something in her death, eh?
Miss Brady left us a legacy in recognition of our patient service and Ron also I'd like to now.
What about you, Laura?
What about me?
Your name was on the list.
I know. Lander, you mean? Lander in a commercial bank robbery.
Lander. I remember the name, though it doesn't come before me. You were the officer in charge of this case.
I was, my lord.
Lander got penal servitude for life and died in Dartmoor a year later. He was a delicate man.
He was a crook. It was him put the night watchman out. It was a clear case from the start.
You were complimented on your able handling of the case.
I got my promotion. I was only doing my duty.
Convenient word, duty.
Dr. Armstrong.
Well, I don't remember the name. What was it? Klaus? Klaus? Well, I don't remember having a patient of that name, or it being connected with me, with the death in any way. Oh no, it may have been one of my other patient cases. They come so late, so many of them, and when they die, it's always the doctor's fault.
And somehow, will you give up surgery and take up nerve cases? Some, of course, give up drink.
I protest. Get nowhere to insinuate such things. I never touched alcohol.
My dear fellow, I never suggested you did. Besides, Mr. Unknown Holden's the only one that knows all the facts.
Miss Clayton.
I was nursery governess for Peter Hamilton one summer. When my attention was distracted, he was swimming up to the left and drowned.
Was there an inquest?
No. It's exonerated by a court. His mother didn't blame me.
Miss Brent.
I have nothing.
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 You reserve your defense.
There is no question of my defense. I've always acted according to the dictates of my conscience.
What a law-abiding lot we seem to be. Myself accepted.
We are waiting for your story, Captain Lombard.
Sorry to disappoint all of you, but I have got a story. It's perfectly true. I left those men and boys to die. It's a matter of self-preservation.
You abandoned your men?
Not quite the act of Kukamahib, I'm afraid, but self-preservation is man's first duty. And the natives don't mind dying, you know. They don't feel it. It's we Americans do.
Our inquiry rests there. Now then, Roger. I'm not quite yet as sure as the purpose of our unknown host in inviting us here, but I am sure he is not insane in the accepted sense of the word. I should like shortly to suggest that we leave the island as soon as possible. I suggest tonight.
I beg your pardon, sir. There's no boat on the island.
No boat at all.
I know, sir.
Well, couldn't we telephone the mainland?
Oh, there's no telephone either, sir. Fred Nowcott, he comes over in the morning. He brings the milk and the bread, and the post and the paper, and takes the orders.
A good unsporting what? We have to ferret out this mystery before we go. The whole thing's like a detective story. Positively thrilling.
That's my time of life. I have no desire for thrill.
The legal life's now. I'm all the time. Here's to it.
My God, he's dead.
It was dead? You mean he just choked and died?
You can call it choking if you'd like, General McKenzie, but he died of asphyxiation right enough.
I never knew a man could die like that. Just of a choking fit.
In the midst of life, we are in death.
Was there something in his drink?
Yes. By the smell of it, potassium cyanide. It acts pretty well instantaneously.
He must put the stuff in the glass himself.
Suicide, eh? That's a wrong go.
Oh no, I can't believe it's suicide. He was enjoying himself. He was having fun.
Look, one of the Indians from the Manatees broke him.
No sign of that boat yet.
It's still very early.
Oh, I know. Still a fellow brings some milk and papers and all that. I should have thought he'd got here before this. And that's not a breakfast yet. Who is that, Brother Rogers?
Oh, that's not Brother about breakfast.
How's the weather looking?
Oh, the wind has freshened up a bit. A rather a mackerel sky. Old boy in the train yesterday said we were in for dirty weather. Shouldn't wonder if he wasn't right.
I wonder where that boat is. It's a desert night keeping a boat on the island.
There's no proper harbour. If the wind comes to blow from the southeast, a boat would get dashed to pieces against the rocks.
But a boat would always be able to make us from the mainland.
No, Miss Brent, that's just what it wouldn't.
You mean to say we should be cut off from the land?
Yes, condensed milk, fried crisp, and tin stuff. Typically have blown itself out, but you needn't worry. The sea's only a bit choppy.
I think the pleasures of living on an island are rather overrated.
I wonder where that boat is. It's annoying the way the house is built. Slap up against the cliff. Can't see the mainland until you've climbed to the top. Shall we go up there again?
It's no good, Doctor. I watched the pot never boils. There was no sign of a boat putting up when we were up there just now.
What can that man Narracap be doing?
They're all like that in Devon. They never free themselves.
But where's Rogers? He ought to be about.
Master Rogers was pretty badly rattled last night.
Oh, I know. Gas through the whole thing.
Got the window properly. I'd take an even bet that he and his missus did do the old lady in.
You really think so?
Well, why not? You all heard that accusation. You've seen him. Guilty as hell, I should say.
That's fantastic. The whole thing.
I say, suppose you talked to him.
Who, Rogers? But there's no way he could. There's no blood in the island. You've just said so.
Yes, but I've been thinking, we've only Roger's word for that. Suppose there is one, and he's nipped off in it the first thing.
Oh, no. He wouldn't be allowed to leave the island.
Sleep well, General.
I dreamed. Yes, I dreamed.
I don't wonder at that.
I dreamed of Leslie, my wife, you know.
Yes. I wish Nericott would come.
Who is Nericott?
The bloke who brought us over yesterday afternoon.
Oh, was it only yesterday?
Yes, might be like that too. Bad gramophone records, suicides. It's about all a man can stand. I shall be sorry to see the back of Indian Island. I'll give you my word.
You don't understand. How strange.
I don't like the look of him.
I reckon young Marston's suicide was too much for him. He looks years older.
Where did he put that young fellow anyway?
In the study. I put him there myself.
Dr. Armstrong, I suppose it was suicide.
What else could it be?
I don't know. Suicide?
You know, I had a pretty funny feeling in the night. This Mr. Unknown, suppose he's on the island. Rogers may know. Or he told him not to say so. Pretty nasty thought, isn't it?
But would it have been possible for anyone to tamper with Marston's drink without us seeing him?
Well, it's standing right there. Anyone could have dropped a double cyanide in it if they wanted to.
But that would mean murder. That would be unbelievable that
Oh, there you are, sir. I've been looking all over for you. Can you come up and take a look at my wife, sir?
Yes, of course. Is she still feeling under the weather?
She's...
Don't leave without me.
I wish the boat would come. I hate this place.
Yes, I think the sooner we can get in touch with the police, the better.
The police.
Yes, the police have been notified in case of suicide.
Oh, yes. I had forgotten.
What's this? No sign of any breakfast?
Are you hungry, General? Feeling like breakfast?
Leslie, my dear.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm very faithful.
Of course. Forgive me. I took you for my wife.
Oh,
I was waiting for her.
but I thought your wife was dead. Long ago.
Yes, I thought so too. But she's here, on this island.
Good morning. Good morning, Captain Lombard. Good morning.
Boat here yet?
No.
Bit late, is it?
Yes.
Good morning. You and I could have had a soda for breakfast. Too bad all this.
Too bad you overslept yourself.
Yes, you must have good nerves to sleep like that.
Nothing makes me lose my sleep.
Didn't dream of African natives by any chance, did you?
No, didn't dream of convicts in Dartmoor.
Look here, Captain Lombard, I don't think that's funny.
Well, you started it. I'm hungry. What about breakfast?
The whole domestic stock seems to have gone on strike.
Well, we can always forage for ourselves.
Isn't that strange?
What?
Remember when we found one of his little fellows smashed last night?
Yes, that I believe 9.
I was certain there were 10 of them here when we arrived.
Yes, that ought to leave 9. Well?
There are only 8.
So there are.
I think it's strange, don't you?
Probably we're only 9 to begin with. We figured there were 10 because of the rhyme. What's wrong?
Mrs. Rogers is dead.
What?
No, how?
She died in her sleep, I'm afraid. Rogers thought she was still under the influence of the sleeping draught I gave her and came down without disturbing her. He lit the fire and did this room. Then, as she hadn't appeared, he came and looked for me. She's been dead about 5 hours, I would say.
Well, what was it? Her heart?
Impossible to say. It may have been.
Or could she have been poisoned?
Yes, it is a possible theory.
With the same stuff as your master?
No, not of her butcher nor had. Probably other than that. Something like that.
What exactly did happen?
Impossible to say without an autopsy.
If this had happened in the case of one of your private patients, what would have been your procedural?
Well, without a more definite knowledge of his state of health, I certainly would not have issued a certificate.
You gave her some sleeping powders last night, didn't you?
Yes, I gave her mild dose of luminol.
Didn't give her too much, did you?
Certainly not. What do you mean by that?
Well, no offense. I was just thinking that if she had a weak heart...
The amount I gave her could not have hurt anyone.
She was a very nervous-looking creature. She had a bad fright last night. Perhaps it was heart failure.
Her heart certainly failed to beat. But what caused it?
Conscience.
What's that, Miss Brent?
You all heard. She was accused, together with her husband, of deliberately murdering her former employer, an old woman.
And you believe that's true, Miss Brent?
Certainly. You all saw her last night. She broke down completely and fainted. The shock of having her wickedness brought home to her was too much for her. She literally died of fear.
It is a possible theory if, for instance, she had a latent cardiac weakness.
Call it, if you prefer, an act of God.
Oh no, Miss Brent.
You regard it as impossible that a sinner should be struck down by the wrath of God? I do not.
Miss Brent, in my knowledge of ill-doing, providence is the work of chastisement to us mortals. The process is often fraught with difficulty. There are no shortcuts.
Look, let's be practical. What did the woman have to eat and drink after she went to bed?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Not a glass of water or a cup of tea. I bet she had a cup of tea. That sort always does.
Rogers assured me she had nothing whatsoever.
He might say so.
So that's your idea?
Well, why not? You all heard that accusation. What if it's true? Miss Brent thinks it is for one. He and his missus did do the old lady in, and they're feeling quite safe and happy about it.
Happy.
Well, they know there's no immediate danger to them. Then some lunatic goes and spills the beans. What happens? It's the woman that cracks. It's the woman that cracks. Goes to pieces. Did you see him hanging around you last night when she was coming to? Not in husbandly solicitude. Not in your sweet life. He was like a cat on hot bricks. And that's the position. They've done a murder and got away with it. But if it's all going to be raked up again now, it's the woman that'll give the show away. She hasn't got the nerve to brazen it out. She's a living danger to her husband. That's what she is. And him, he's all right. He'll go on lying till the cows come home. But he can't be sure of her. So what does he do? He drops a nice little dollop of something into a nice cup of tea, and when she's had it, he washes up the cup in salsa and turns the dog to shade and had nothing.
Oh no, a man wouldn't do that. Not to his wife.
You'd be surprised, Miss Claythorne, what some husbands would do.
If you'll pardon me, miss, I'm getting along with breakfast now. I'm afraid that I'm not the hands of the cook. I'm afraid that lunch is the one that's worrying me. Would cold ham and some potatoes be okay? And there's tin cheese and such.
That'll be fine, Rogers.
Lunch! Lunch! We shan't be here for lunch. When the hell's that boat coming?
Mr. Lord.
What?
You'll pardon me, sir, the boat won't be coming.
What?
Navcott's always here before 8, sir. Is there anything you require, miss?
No, Rogers.
And it's not Rogers. His wife lay dead upstairs. He's cooking breakfast and calmly talking about lunch. Nice as a boat will be coming. How the hell does he know?
Mr. Lord.
What?
Can't you see? He's just automatically acting like any good servant would. He's in a daze. It's pathetic if you ask me.
He's pulling a fast one.
The really significant thing here is the failure of the boat to arrive. It means we are being deliberately cut off from help.
That's very little time. Very little time.
What's that, General?
That's very little time. We mustn't waste it talking about things that don't matter.
Sir, why do you think the boat, Mercat hasn't showed up yet?
I think the ubiquitous Mr. Owens given orders.
What, told him it's a practical joke or something?
Something that's sold.
He would have never fallen for that.
Couldn't we light a bonfire so they'd see us?
Well, that's probably been provided against.
Or can't we do something?
Oh yes, we can do something. We can find a funny man who staged this little joke. If you ask me, he's somewhere on this island. And the sooner we get a hold of him, the better. Because in my opinion, he's as mad as a hatter and as dangerous as a rattlesnake.
Hardly a very good simile. The rattlesnake needs a warning with approach.
Warning. My God, yes! That's a warning. 10 little Indian boys. There were 10 of us after Nercott left, weren't there? 10 little Indian boys went out to dine. One went and choked himself. Marston choked himself. See, 9 little Indian boys sat up very late. One overslept herself. Mrs. Rogers overslept herself, didn't she?
What do you mean? That he wants to kill us all?
Yes, I think she does.
And each one fits with the rhyme.
Well, it's coincidence. Yes, it must be coincidence.
Only 8 little Indian boys left, and that's coincidence too?
What do you think, Flora?
Well, I don't like it. It's all too messy.
You agree with me, Mr. Lawrence, don't you?
Up to a point, yes.
So the sooner we get a hold of him, the better. Come on, Armstrong. Come on, Flora. We'll make short work of it.
Nobody's got a revolver by any chance, do they? I suppose it's too much to her fault.
I've got one right here.
Always carry that about with you.
Usually, I'm a rather adventurous type, you know. I've gotten into the habit of carrying a revolver with me. Been in a bit of a jam once or twice. It's quite a pleasant feeling having a revolver. Don't you agree?
I don't carry one. Well, if this Mr. Owen turns out to be one of this type, a lunatic, he'll probably have an entire arsenal on him, and he'll use it.
Oh, no. Most homicidal maniacs are nice, quiet, unassuming people.
Dylan, fellows,
You'd never know there was anything wrong with them.
if this Mr. Owen turns out to be one of that type, we'll send him to you. Well, I suggest we make a start. Captain Lombard, you search the house while Armstrong and I search the island.
All right. Outside of easy. No sliding panels. No secret doors.
Mind, he doesn't get you before you get him.
Don't worry about me, but you two better stick together. Remember, one got left behind.
Come on, Armstrong.
Very energetic man, that Captain Lombard.
Well, don't you think he's right? If there's someone on the island, they're bound to find him. It's practically bare rock.
I think this problem needs brains to solve it. You're not wrong.
Well, where are you going?
I'm going out in the sun to sit and think. What am I doing, ladies?
Where did I put that skein of white knitting off?
Would you like me to go look for it?
No, I know where it's likely to be.
I'm glad Captain Lombard has got a revolver.
All wasting time. Wasting time.
Do you think so?
Yes. It's much better to sit here quietly and wait.
We'll wait for what?
For the end, of course. I wish I could find Leslie.
Your wife?
Yes. I wish you'd known her. She was so pretty, so gay.
Was she?
Yes. I loved her very much. Of course, I was a lot older than she was. She was only 27. Arthur the Richmond, 26. He was my ADC. Leslie liked him. They used to talk of music and plays together, and she teased him and made fun of him. I was pleased. I thought she took a motherly interest in the boy. Damn fool, wasn't I? There's no fool like an old fool. Exactly like a book, the way I found out. It was out in France, and she wrote to both of us. She put the letters in the long envelope, so I knew.
Oh.
Oh, it's all right, my dear. It's a long time ago. You see, I loved her very much. I believed in him. I never said anything to him. Did gather inside, here, a slow, murderous rage. Damn young hypocrite! I liked the boy, trusted him.
I'm gonna go see where the others are.
I sent him to his death.
Oh.
Oh, it was quite easy. Mistakes were being made all the time. All anyone could say is that I lost my nerve a bit, made a blunder, sacrificed one of my best men. Yes, it was quite easy. Leslie never knew. I never told her I found out. We were down as usual, but somehow nothing was quite real anymore. She died of pneumonia. She had a heart-shaped face, gray eyes, brown hair that curled.
Oh, don't.
Yes, I suppose in a way it was murder. Curious. Murder. And I've always been such a law-abiding man. I didn't feel like that at the time. Serves him damn well right. That's what I thought. But after, oh well, you know, don't you?
What do you mean?
You don't seem to understand. I thought you would. I thought you'd be glad, too, that the end was coming. We're all gonna die, you know.
I don't know.
Oh, you're very young. You haven't gotten to that yet. Relief. The blessed relief when you know you've done with it all and you haven't got to carry the burden any longer.
General.
Don't talk to me that way. You don't understand. I want to sit out there and wait. Wait for Leslie to come for me.
I'm frightened. Oh, I'm so frightened.
All correct? No secret passages? One corpse.
Don't.
I see. You do look low. How about a drink to steady your nerves?
A drink. 2 corpses at the house at 9 o'clock in the morning. Have a drink. An old man going quite crackers. That's all right. Have a drink. Everything's all right as long as you have a drink.
All right. Stay thirsty.
Oh, you're nothing but a waster and an adventurer. You make me tired.
I say, you are riled up. What's the matter with you?
I am not your sweet.
I'm sorry. I rather thought you were.
Well, you can think again.
Come now. You don't really feel like that. We've got something in common, you and I. Rogues and murderers can't fall out.
Rogues and murderers!
All right. So you don't like the company of rogues and murderers, and you won't have a drink. I'll go finish searching.
Unpleasant young man. Can't find it anywhere. Does anything matter?
I'm really worried about the general. Yes.
Think you guys can do that, General? Sin has found him out.
Don't.
One must face facts.
Can any of us afford to throw stones?
Even if his wife were no better, then she should have and she must have been a depraved woman. He had no right to take judgment into his own hands.
What about Beatrice Taylor?
Who?
That was the name, wasn't it?
You are referring to that absurd accusation about myself.
Yes.
Now that we are alone, I'm glad to tell you the facts of this case. Indeed, I should like you to hear them. That girl, Beatrice Taylor, was in my service. I was very much deceived in her. She had nice manners and was clean and willing. Of course, all that was sheerest hypocrisy. She was a loose girl with no morals. It was some time before I found out she was what they call in trouble. It was a great shock to me. Her parents were decent folks too, who had brought her up strictly.
What happened?
Naturally, I refused to keep her a moment under my roof. No one shall ever say I condoned immorality.
How old was she?
17.
Only 17.
Quite old enough to know how to behave. I told her what a low and depraved thing she was. I told her that when she was beyond the pale, that no decent person would take her into their house. I told her that her child would be the child of sin, and that the man would never dream of marrying her. I told her that I felt soiled by ever having her under my roof.
But then I suppose you kicked her out of your house. And she didn't know what to do. What did you feel like when she found out that she had drowned herself?
Feel like?
Yes, didn't you blame yourself?
Certainly not. I had nothing with which to reproach myself.
I believe you really feel like that. That makes it even more horrible.
That girl's unbalanced. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken. The Lord is known by the judgment, the executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hand.
A breakfast is ready, miss.
The wicked shall be turned into hell. Be quiet.
But do you know what a gentleman are, miss?
Dr. Armstrong and Laura searched the house, and Sir Lawrence's uncle saw it.
Shall not the isle shake at the sound of the fall, when the wounded cry, when the slaughter is made in mystery?
Shall we go and eat?
I don't feel like eating.
A breakfast is ready, sir.
Then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones, and lay away their robes, and put off their broidered garments. They shall clothe themselves with the trembling. They shall sit upon the ground, and shall tremble at every moment, and be astonished at thee.
Reading your letter, Miss Brent.
It is my custom to read a portion of the Bible every day.
A very good habit, I'm sure.
What number do you have?
There's no cover anywhere. Nowhere where anyone can hide.
Any luck?
No, there's no one in the house but ourselves. I'll swear my life on it. I've been over this house from attic to cellar.
Oh, breakfast is getting cold.
Breakfast? You've been yelping about breakfast all morning, Lord. Let's eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow we shall die. Or who knows, maybe even today.
You ought to be ashamed of such levity, Captain Lombard.
Come on, sir. Breakfast. I say breakfast, sir. Gosh, one got left behind. There's a knife in his back.
He's dead. He's dead.
But who could have done it?
Don't you realize this clever and cunning criminal has always been one step ahead of us? No matter what plans we make, he always adjusts accordingly. There's only one place that a murderer like that can hide. Where?
One place? Where?
Here, in this room. Mr. Owen is one of us. Yes, Mr. Fuller.
Sir Lawrence, I wanted to get you alone. You were right in what you said this morning. This damned murderer is one of us.
Really?
Yes. Ever hear of the Lizzie Borden case in America? Old couple killed with an axe in the middle of the morning. The only one who could have done it was the daughter, a respectable and middle-aged business. Incredible. So incredible that they acquitted her. But they never found any other explanation.
And then your suspicions are of Miss Emily Brent.
I tell you, that woman is as mad as a hatter. man, I tell you. She's the one, and we must watch her.
Really? I formed the conclusions that your suspicions were of a different quarter.
Yes, but I've changed my mind, and I'll tell you for why. She's the only one who isn't scared. Why? Because she knows she's in no danger.
We've made some coffee. There's a cold in here. I kept it from my drawer just still out.
Yes. No boat would put out in this. And even if it couldn't land anyway.
Mr. Riggs.
Allow me.
It was a good idea for you to insist on having lunch and some brandy. I feel much better.
The court always adjourns for lunch.
All the same, it's a nightmare. What are we going to do about it?
We must hold an informal court of inquiry. We might be able to at least eliminate innocent people.
You don't have any hunch of any kind, do you, Miss Claythorne?
Mr. Broad, if Miss Claythorne suspects one of us three, then that's a rather awkward question.
No, I don't expect any of you. But if you ask me who I suspected, I would say Dr. Armstrong.
Armstrong?
Well, yes, don't you see? He's had far a better chance of killing Mrs. Rogers. Being a doctor and all, he could have given her an overdose of that stuff.
Oh, that's true. But someone else gave her the brandy, remember?
Her husband had a good opportunity to administer a drug.
It isn't, Rogers. He doesn't have the brains, nor the money to fix up this stunt. And besides, you've seen him. He's scared stiff.
Man, it's something of a storm out there.
It's you. Who did you think it was? Beatrice Taylor? I beg your pardon. You're awfully wet. Would you like some coffee?
Yes. I'm taking a liking to coffee now, you see.
I do not, of course, profess to be a weather prophet, but I think it highly unlikely that a boat could reach us in under 24 hours, even if it did know our flight. Even if the sea drops, the wind has yet to go down.
Is anyone a swimmer? Would it be possible to swim to the mainland?
It's over a mile swim. And in this storm, someone would be dashed to the rocks and drown. 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 In the pond.
Pardon me, Miss Brent.
After dinner nap?
It's terribly cold this year.
I can light a fire if you like, Miss.
Yes, Rogers, that would be good.
Very sound scheme, Rogers.
Has anybody seen Miss Claythorne's bedspread? It seems to be missing.
Has anybody seen a red blanket laying around?
I thought it was just odd, that's all.
Everything on this island's odd.
But there's no wood here. I'll go fetch a few sticks and a few knobs of coal and get a nice fire.
You know, it's very cold out there. I wonder if you'd like a cup of coffee. Rogers!
Where's Armstrong?
He went up to his room to rest.
I'm sure somebody's probably got him one by now.
I expect he had to descend to the office door.
Well, it won't be so easy. Now that we're all on our guard.
I should advise you, Mr. Broad, not to be too confident. I should like shortly to propose certain safety measures, which I think we should all adopt. We're all on this island together, and we are all in grave danger.
From whom?
Against each other. We're all on this island together, as I said.
In spite of what was just said, you, Sir Lawrence, and Dr. Armstrong are above suspicion. He's a well-known doctor, and you're known all over England.
Mr. Bloor, that proves nothing. The judges have gone mad before now. So have doctors. And if I might add, so have policemen.
Here, here. Did he want coffee?
No, he said he'd rather like a cup of tea. I wonder if Dr. Armstrong will like a cup.
Oh, let me take it up to him.
Oh, I'll take it up to him. I'd like to change.
He might not admit you. He might prefer to see me. He's afraid of your revolver.
Ah, that revolver. I'd like to have a word with you about that.
Do you go and change?
What were you going to say, Claude?
I say, I find it a bit odd that you've brought a revolver on what's supposed to be a little social visit.
Oh, you do you?
Yes.
I'm a rather adventurous type. Been in a bit of a jam once or twice. And I got into the habit of carrying a revolver with me.
Well, I don't carry one. That's a fishy story.
This is about the revolver. I wanted to hear what you're saying.
Oh. Well, I got a letter inviting me to come as a guest of Mr. and Mrs. Owen. Said they'd heard I got a reputation for being good in a tight place. Also said there might be some danger, but I'd be alright if I kept my eyes open.
I have never fallen for that.
Yes, but it was an intriguing proposition. It aroused my curiosity.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Yes, quite.
Please do go and change.
I'm going. The maternal instinct, I think it's called.
Don't be ridiculous.
If this story is true, why didn't he tell it to us last night?
Well, I think that's because he thought that this was Mr. Owen's little piece of cheese to get him here with the rest of us.
Perhaps it is.
No, I don't think so. He must have known him well enough to rely upon his curiosity.
If it's true, he's wrong in that man. I wouldn't trust him a yard.
I am such a good judge of men.
You must get out of here. We must leave. Quickly.
The one thing we must not do is give away to nerves.
I'm sorry. Rather a case of physician to heal myself.
Are you sleeping badly, I think?
Yes. I'm having nightmares. A hospital. Operations. A knife in my throat.
Real nightmares.
Do you ever dream you're in court, sentencing a man to death?
Are you buying a case of frame a man named Edward Seaton? I can assure you, not losing any sleep on the death of Edward Seaton. Particularly brutal and cold-blooded murder. The jury, they were inclined to let him off. However, he wasn't about to let that happen. I cooked Seaton's goose.
Oh, it's terribly cold in here. I wonder where Rogers is.
Yes, he's been a long time. Where'd he go?
I don't know. He said he went to go get some sticks or something.
Sticks. Sticks? My God, sticks!
My God!
Is another one gone? Are there only 6?
There are only 5.
5?
Roger's number.
Oh, no, not Philip!
Whoa, where's Blur up to like a madman?
Oh, Philip!
Have you seen Rogers?
No? Why should I?
2 more are gone.
2?
I thought it was you.
What's the matter?
In the scullery.
Is he?
Yes. He's dead, all right.
How?
With an axe. Someone came up behind him while he was bent over the wood box.
One shot himself in half. I've had
Vera,
more
Vera,
since.
get a hold of yourself. She'll be alright. What's next, boys? Bees? Are there any bees in here? Well, that's the next verse, isn't it? 6 little Indian boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. A bumblebee. We all look pretty spry. Nothing wrong with any of us. A hypodermic syringe.
The modern bee sting.
While she was sitting there, one of us.
One of us.
Which of us?
A nice wrong game. How about admitting what's called suspicion? A suspects B, B suspects C, and so on. Let's start with you, Flora. Not hard to tell who you suspect. I'm your fancies, aren't I, Flora?
I won't say no to that.
You're quite wrong, you know. Abstract justice is in my line. If I were to be murdered, it would have to be something else.
All I say is that you've acted suspiciously from the start. You've told two completely different stories. First you say you come here with a revolver. Now you say you lost it.
I have lost it.
That's a likely story.
What do you think I've done with it? I suggested myself you search me.
You're too clever for that.
What, I pinned it someplace, ready for the next time?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Use your brain, Flora. If I wanted to, I could have shot the lot of you by now. Ha, 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 ha.
Yes, but that's not the big idea.
The crazy touch, man. I'm sane enough.
The doctor says there are some lunatics. You never know we're lunatics. That's true enough, I'd say.
Surely there's something we can do if you let a bonfire.
In this weather,
It is, I'm afraid, a question of time and patience. The weather will clear, then we can do something. Light a bonfire, sing more heliograms and salt.
Question of time? Time? We can't afford time. We should all be dead.
I think the precautions we are taking now are quite inadequate.
I tell you, we shall all be dead. All but one. Well, stop thinking. He's thinking right now.
Poor Louise. What was your name? Louise? What's that nerve they made you do, doctor?
No, drink. I used to be a heavy drinker. God help me. I was drunk when I operated. Quite a simple operation. I remember her now. A big countryside woman. And I killed her.
Sounds right. That's how it was.
Sister knew, of course. But she was loyal to me. Went to the hospital. Gave up surgery. Took up the study of nervous diseases.
Very successfully, I might add, Doctor.
1 or 2 lucky shots with some very important women. They told their friends, and I've been so busy, I hardly know which way to turn. I've climbed to the top of my tree.
Until Mr. Unknown, and down will come cradle and doctor and all.
Captain Lombard, please stop this damn ensnaring and joke.
Gentlemen, please. This is not the time to quarrel. We can't afford to quarrel.
Sorry by me. I apologize.
I'm sorry. It's just this terrible activity that gets on my nerves.
You're very silent, Vera.
Well, there's really nothing to say. I hate this, waiting for the hours to go by, and not knowing what's going to happen the next hour. What time is it?
Oh, it's 3:30.
Is that all?
Pretty awful light, this. Oh, how are the candles holding on?
and there's a couple on the mantelpiece. Storm's died down a bit. What do you think, sir?
Perhaps. We mustn't get too optimistic.
The killer's got everything on his side. Even the weather's on his side.
What about something to eat?
Oh, there's some meat in the fridge. I'll go get it. But you four all stay here. That is right, isn't it?
Not quite. You see, Miss Clayton, it might be inadvisable to eat or drink anything you had prepared out of sight.
Oh. You don't like me, do you?
It's not a question of likes or dislikes.
Not much of you past here, Sir Lawrence. If you won't be offended by my saying so, you're mine.
Now is hardly the moment for taking offense, Mr. Lombard.
Well, I don't think it's Lord. I don't think he's got the imagination for this job. If you are the killer, Laura, I can tip my hat to you for a damn fine actor.
Thank you for nothing.
Well, I don't think it's Armstrong. I don't think he has the nerve. You've got the nerve, Vera, but you strike me as eminently sane. Therefore, you wouldn't commit murder unless you had a thoroughly good motive.
Thank you.
It works out quite prettily. By the way, Doctor, Miss Playthorn suspects you. Oh yes, haven't you seen her shoot a dirty look from time to time? It works out quite prettily. I suspect Sir Lawrence. Flora suspects me. Armstrong suspects Flora. What about you, sir?
Quite early in the day, I formed a certain conclusion. It seemed to me that everything that had happened pointed quite unmistakably at one person.
Which one?
I don't think it'd be advisable to mention her name at the present time.
Inadvisable in a public interest?
Exactly.
What about the food idea?
Well, I'm not hungry.
Can't say I'm hungry.
You can go and have a guzzle by yourself, Flora.
Tell you what, suppose I go out and bring in a tin of biscuits.
Good idea. Oh, floor.
Yes.
An unopened tin floor.
You know, I wonder what happened to my red blanket.
I don't know. So,
Well, you see, things seem to be missing. Miss Brett lost a skein of knitting wool.
so the killer, whoever he or she is a kleptomaniac?
I don't know. How does the line go? 5 little boys going into the bar.
One got in Chancery, and then there were 4.
In Chancery. Well, how could that apply? Unless...
Exactly, my dear young lady. That's why I'm sitting right here.
Yes, but I'm casting you for the role of murderer, not victim.
Well, the term could apply to a boxer.
Maybe we'll start a free fight. That seems to light you up, my dear.
This rhyme is driving me crazy. It keeps going round and round in my head. It's going to be there until I die. Where's the Lord?
Well, I suspect the big bad wolf's got him by now.
Captain Lombard! I've asked you once before to try and restrain your peculiar sense of humor.
Sorry, sir. Must be some form of nervousness.
Put your hands up! Surgeon!
Well, I never.
Oh, no, not for me.
Come now. You've had no dinner.
I couldn't eat a thing.
I'm warning you. Laura wolfed a lot.
I don't see why you need to be so funny about it. Starving ourselves won't do any good. Are we off for cigarettes?
I haven't got any.
I'm allowed.
I'm a pipe smoker.
There's a cart upstairs. I'll go get it. Let's see that you all stay here.
Not bad, these biscuits.
What are they? Cheese?
Cheese and celery.
That girl ought to have had some.
Her nerves are in a bad state.
I don't know. I'd agree with you there, Doctor. Miss Claythorne strikes me as a resourceful young lady. Quite remarkably so.
So that's your idea? That she's the worm in the apple?
Highly likely. A woman.
You and I, Doctor, see women from completely different angles.
My God, he's dead. By the looks of it, shot through the head.
One got in Chancery. And then there were 4.
Miss Claythorne, Vera.
You did it. You're crazy. All of you crazy. That's why you hung that seaweed there. That's why you wanted me to go get those cigarettes. You did it. Long ago, so you could kill that helpless old man. It was all planned. For that. Oh my God. Get me out of here.
Thinking as a guzzle, who's next to go?
Oh, Philip.
Oh, that's all right, Miss Bacon. I don't mind choking on a full stomach.
I should say I was hungry, but I should never fancy eating tinned meat again.
Yes, I was wanting that meal. I feel like a new man.
Yeah, we've been nearly 24 hours without food or drink. That does more the morale.
Somehow, in the light of day, everything seems to be much better.
You mustn't forget, there's a dangerous homicidal lunatic somewhere on the island.
Why is it that one doesn't feel jittery about it anymore?
Because we know beyond any possible doubt who it is. Hey, Lord.
That's right.
I told you all along that it got Dr. Armstrong.
You did, my sweet, you did. Until last night when you went past and suspected us all.
Seems rather silly, doesn't it?
Yes, very.
Allowing it is Armstrong. And what do you think happens to him?
Well, we know what he wants us to think has happened to him.
Well, what exactly did you find?
Just one shoe. One shoe sitting prettily on the cliff edge. Inference. The doctor's gone completely bad and committed suicide.
But that's all very circumstantial. Even to finding one of the Indians broken in the doorway.
I think it was rather overdoing it. A man wouldn't go through all that trouble if he was going to commit suicide.
Yes, but we're pretty sure he didn't commit suicide. He just had to make it look as though he was the seventh victim.
Well,
All according to
suppose
plan.
he really is dead.
I'm a bit skeptical of death without bodies.
Extraordinary. To think, here we were, eating tinned meat, and there's 5 dead bodies in there.
The delightful feminine disregard for facts. There are 6 dead bodies, and they're not all in there.
No, she's right. There are only 5.
What about Miss Redford?
I counted her. She makes it.
Look here. Marston 1, Mrs. Rogers 2, Mackenzie 3, Rogers 4, Emily Grant 5, Wargrave 6.
7, 8, 9, Armstrong 10. That's right, old man. Sorry.
Don't you think it'd be an idea to bring Mrs.
Rogers
down and shop her in the morgue too?
I'm a detective, not an undertaker.
Oh, let's stop talking about bodies. The point is, Armstrong's moving them.
Yes, we ought to realize that straight away.
But why the devil should Armstrong chuck the revolver away?
I haven't the slightest idea.
What exactly happened last night?
Well, after you went bad and locked yourself in your room, we all decided we should go to bed.
So we all went upstairs and locked ourselves in our rooms.
About an hour later, I heard somebody pass my door. I went and tapped on Floor's door and he was there. But when I went to Armstrong's room, he was gone. So I came and tapped on your door and told you to sit tight whatever happened. Then I came down here and found the window open and my revolver laying right next to it.
I still don't understand why Armstrong should chuck it away.
I haven't the slightest idea, either by accident or he's crazy.
Well, where do you think he is?
Lurking someplace, ready to have another shot at one of us.
We ought to go search the house.
What, and run into an ambush?
You never thought of that, Lola.
Well, what did you hear last night?
Well, I imagine all sorts of things, but nothing short of setting this house on fire would have gotten me to unlock my door.
I was pretty curious about that.
Well, what's the use of talking? Let's do something.
What? I think we should just sit tight. Take no risks.
Yes, but I want to go after this fellow.
What a dedicated cock you are, Lord. Between friends and without Prejudice, you did go in for a spot up her drink, didn't you?
Well, I don't think it makes any difference now. Landon was innocent, all right. And between me and the gang, we put him away for a spell. Mind you, I wouldn't admit it now that if it wasn't...
What, you think we're in the same boat?
Well, I couldn't admit it in front of Mr. Justice Walgraves, could I?
No, hardly.
Besides, I couldn't tell he was going to die, could I?
No, that was your bad luck.
His, you mean?
No, yours too, because of that fact. You're gonna have your life cut unpleasantly short.
But Armstrong, I'll watch it.
You'll have to. Remember, there's only 3 little Indian boys left.
Well, I'm tired of sitting here. Lend me your revolver. I'll go after him.
No, I won't. That's my revolver. It's my revolver, and I'm sticking to it.
You do know what I'm beginning to think of you.
You're not beginning to think it. You thought it last night. Now you're just going back to your original idea.
The least you could do, if I'm going after him, the least you could do then is chuck the revolver down the cliff.
Don't be an idiot.
Look, I'm tired of all this. Lend me the revolver.
No.
Stop it, you two. Are you behaving like a pair of children?
Sorry, teacher.
Of course, Armstrong is the killer. I have absolute proof of it.
Oh, what?
Think of the rhyme. 4 little Indian boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there were 3. A red herring. That's Dr. Arm's suicide, although he's really not dead.
That's very ingenious.
Well, to my mind, it's absolute proof. You see, it's mad because he's mad. He takes a queer and childish way of making everything fit to the rhyme. Dressing up the judge, killing Miss Redford for hypodermic, when you might as well just drug him. You see, he's got to make it all fit in.
Well, that does make a point. Well, what's next? 3 little Indian boys walking in a zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. They'll have a time with that one. There's no zoo on the island. Why say Captain Lombard? What about a nice bottle of beer?
Stop thinking about your stomach, Fleur. This thing with food and drink's gonna be your undoing.
But there's plenty of beer in the kitchen.
Yes, and if anyone wanted to kill you, the first thing they'd do is put a nice dollop of something in a nice bottle of beer.
I suppose you're right. What's that? A boat! A boat!
Laura got his.
How?
Trap set across the door, tied to something above.
Is he?
Yes. The great bronze bear holding the clock, head crushed in.
A bear? How ghastly. This is awful childishness.
Laura was a fool. We better get off this island.
We shan't. He'll get to us. We'll never get off this island.
Oh, yes, we will. I've never been stopped yet.
Don't you feel that there's someone now in this room watching us and waiting?
That's just nerves.
And then you feel it too.
No, I don't.
Please, Philip, there's some way we can get off this island. If there's a boat or something.
All right. But won't you be rather cold in that dress?
I'd be colder if I were dead.
Perhaps you're right. A quicker reconnaissance.
Be careful, Philip.
Don't worry about me. I'm no blurt. There's no window directly above. Hey, there's something washed up on the rocks.
What? It looks like a body.
You better go and wait in there.
Armstrong. Armstrong's body.
Washed up at the high water mark.
When all is no one on the island. No one at all, except us two.
Yes. Now we know where we are.
Now we know where we are.
Pretty trick of yours, setting a trap, killed Bart. Old Wargrave always knew you were dangerous.
You.
You did kill that kid after all, didn't you?
That's why you're wrong. Please listen to me. Please believe me.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
I didn't kill that child. It was someone else.
Who?
A man. Peter's uncle. He was wicked. He said he loved me, but that he was too poor to marry anyone.
Go on. I'm listening.
There was a rock, far out, that Peter had always wanted to swim to. One day when my attention was distracted, I had to go up to the house for something. When I got back, Peter was already swimming to the rock. I tried to go after him, but Hugh stopped me. Let him go. That's what Hugh said.
I suppose he let you down.
Do you think I ever want to see him again?
Well, it's a pretty story. And so,
Can't you believe the truth when you hear it?
blast you.
Here. Go ahead and see it before. It's there. In your face. The face of a killer.
You can't fool me any longer.
Now!
Blast you.
You come one step nearer and I'll shoot.
You're young, cunning, and quite mad.
It's all come true. My tenderly rhyme. I rhyme. Don't be afraid. This is a court of justice. She'll get justice here. You thought I was dead. You thought I was a ghost. That was the clever part of my plan. Armstrong said I was dead. Said I'd be free to spy upon the guilty one. Said we'd fix it up nice and pretty. He came out that night to meet me by the cliff without any suspicion. Sent him over with a push. So easily. He swallowed my red herring, all right. You know, Miss Preston, all my life, I wanted to take life. Yes, to take life. But until now, I did what enjoyment I could. Sentencing the guilty to death, but it wasn't enough. I always wanted to do it with my own hand. But I'm a judge of the High Court. I've got a sense of justice. Between our sovereign lord the king and the prisoner at the bar shall true deliverance make. Silence in the court! Anthony Marston first. Then Mrs. Rogers, Barberton at the brandy. Mackenzie next. Chopped Rogers in half to the neck. Doped Penny Brent so she wouldn't feel the high court sternly. Bloor. Bloor was easy. Booby tapped the board. He was a fool. The train that resolved in the end was a clever touch. Made the end more interesting. I knew you two would suspect each other in the end. But the question was, who would win out? I banked in you, my dear. Besides, it's always more interesting to have a female in the end. Prisoner at the bar, the only reason why sentence should not be passed upon you. I sentence you to death.
Stop! Stop! I'm not guilty. I swear I'm not guilty.
They all say that. But unless, of course, you're going all out for a verdict of insanity. But you're not mad. I'm mad.
Please listen to me. I'm not guilty. I didn't kill that child. I swear I didn't kill that
make much difference now. You're the last one little Indian boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself, and then there were none.
Got married, and then there were none.
To leave you without knowing exactly how the murders have been committed. So we are going to, instead of a traditional curtain call, show you exactly how they have been committed.
And out of this knowledge concerning us, he has made certain definite accusations.
Silence! The legal life is narrowing. I'm off the crime. Here's to it.
It's okay. She's fainted, that's all. She'll be all right. Get some brandy.
Okay.
Here, drink this. You'll be all right.
Very energetic man, that Captain Lombard.
Well, don't you think he's right? If there's someone on the island, they're bound to find him. It's practically better off.
I think this problem needs brains to solve it, not brawn.
Where are you going, General?
Don't come to that way. You don't understand. I want to sit out there and wait for Leslie to come for me.
There's not enough work now. I'll go fetch a few sticks and tune out to call and get a nice fire going.
I wonder if Dr. Armstrong would like something to drink.
Allow me.
His friends.
Allow me. Sleeping capsule. Is anyone a swimmer? Couldn't someone swim to the mainland?
But it's over a mile swim. And if anybody would swim and maybe dash to the rocks and drown.
Drown. In the pond.
Excuse me, Miss Brent.